Hello there. Welcome to the Love and Laugh online virtual live Facebook live comedy show. How you guys doing?
Good.
Everybody hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Well, we are broadcasting live on Facebook on my Facebook page, John Peters, also on the Love and Laugh Joycast. My name is John Peters, named after, actually, John Paul Peters, named after three apostles and a pope. But talk about pressure, a lot of pressure to live a holy life. And I fall short sometimes. Can I get an amen from my wife back there?
Amen.
She gives an amen. Mary Lou's listening, so we have to behave herself. And I'm blessed to have my fellow comedians, Ed the Med, Cha, and Vaughn here. For this is the first time we've ever did a live online show. Now we do a show every Thursday. It's a little bit different format. This one we're actually going to do material. That's the plan. And I'm very excited to do this because we have hopefully, and I'm sure this is reality, we have some meetup people that have RSVP'd on meetups to be part of this viewing audience. So if you've met us from meetups, welcome. Please feel free to send a comment or communicate in some way your presence, how you heard about us. And our goal is the love and laugh. We want to tell people why we love Jesus and how we can laugh with the joy of the Lord. And one of the reasons that I can laugh, guys, is I am married to my wonderful wife, Mary Lou. Say hello, Mary Lou.
Hello, Mary Lou.
She's in the background there for 45 wonderful years. And my wife is an animal lover. I don't know if you guys knew that. She loves birds. Any other bird lovers here?
Mm-hmm. I love birds.
She actually once bought a cockatiel. She loved it. I hated it. I don't like cockatiels. Now, if you're familiar with them, they're the ones, see if we can see this on the screen. They had this big feather on top, all right? Now, here's what bothers me. They are arrogant with that feather. They flip that up when all the time, and I find that annoying. Put it on the screen there. I want to actually come by with a scissors and clip that hair, the feather off, give him a crew cut. Because it's like that bird is saying, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I'm better. Annoying. And, you know, I think cockatiels originated in Jersey because it's like they flip you the bird.
Oh.
Yeah. The Jersey birds. They got an attitude. Cockatiels have an attitude. But my wife loved them. And that bird would actually sit on her finger. And she'd kiss the bird's beak. It would kiss her. Guys, that made me so mad. I mean, I don't know where that bird beak has been. What's he doing kissing my wife? Step away from my wife's lips, you filthy, rotten bird. Oh, I hated that. Then she'd open up the cage and she'd let the thing do loops around the living room, which sounds wonderful, except it would relieve itself and drop these little white out colored bombs, bird bombs, and you'd have to duck the bird dropping. So annoying. I hated that bird. She had it a while, and then one day we noticed its beak started to curl, and over like a month, it became totally deformed to where if it tried to eat seed, the seeds would pop out. It looked like a leprosy. It was like a twisted leopard beak. He looked like a carnival freak, is what I'm saying. He looked like the Elephant Man bird. I am not an animal. It was horrible to look at. So my wife, in her wisdom, decided that she would put that bird asleep. And the way she did it is she put it in the freezer. Okay. My wife put the bird in the freezer. Now, that seemed a little weird to me, but I didn't care. I didn't like the bird anyway. I don't care what you do with that bird, which is really a horrible thing to say. Well, I figured, they shoot horses. I guess they freeze birds. I don't know. How do you put a bird to sleep? But I'll be honest with you. Over the years, I did feel bad. I feel like we had really been a little cruel to that poor bird who probably didn't deserve that kind of treatment. But years later, I was listening to the radio, and on a radio show, somebody asked the announcer, "How do you euthanize a sick bird?" And the announcer said, "Put it in the freezer." I heard that with my ears. I let out a whelp of joy. I said, "God, I feel vindicated. I don't feel like a sinner and cruel anymore." So I was telling this to my friend the other day, and he said, "Yeah, you can put a bird to sleep by freezing it, but you got to anesthetize it first." That's just a minor detail. So that was the cockatiel that went to heaven by means of the freezer. Bless his heart. And I was actually raised Roman Catholic with a name like John Paul Peters. How could you be anything but Catholic? And I went to a Catholic school growing up. The name of the school was Queen of Peace in North Arlington. And I'll tell you what, those sisters kept the peace. And they did it with rulers over little boy cold stares. And they dressed in black like the Grim Reaper. You didn't mess with the nuns. You know how many things we got away with in Catholic school? None. N-U-N. The nuns, they were tough. That's right. But we had this really cute kindergarten teacher. Her name was Sister Paul Joseph. And she was as short as we were. Seriously. She must have been like a midget teacher. She was more like a Sister Paul Pee-wee. She was like a hobbit with a habit. Really small, cute nun. I'll never forget her. And I remembered once she congratulated a kid for singing loudly. His name was Joey, and he sang really loud. That impressed me. So through life, I figured it doesn't matter if you have ability or not. It's just that you're loud. Am I right, Cha?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that. You're from Jersey, right?
That's
kind of like politicians and ex-presidents. They've also used that same principle, but we probably won't go there. Anyway, in Catholic school, we did have a class clown. His name was Stephen Bonnert, B-O-N-E-R-T. Now, I'll let you figure out the nicknames that fifth grade boys came up with Stephen. He was the class clown. And I'll never forget, once in the playground, a bully slapped me on the cheek. So I did like Jesus said, I turned the other cheek, right? And he slapped that one too. Now that Jesus never taught me about that. I thought if you just turn the other cheek, I'll walk away. No, he dealt me twice. So I never forgot that. And now when I was in first grade, we lived close enough to school to where I had to walk home. It was about a half a mile. It never failed. I'd get like 5 minutes away from home and I would pee my trousers. I mean, I was a first grader, you know, you can only hold it in so long.
Yeah, a year ago.
I had to do that wet pants walk of shame shuffle, you know, so your friends wouldn't see that you peed your pants. It was horrible. But I was thinking, now that I'm 66, I wonder, will that ever happen to me again?
It depends.
Depends. If so, I already know the walk. That's all I'm saying. Been there, done that. Now, this evening, just before the show started, we had fast food. We were going to go to Burger King, but the line was too long. We ended up with McDonald's. But it reminded me when I was a teenager, I actually had a job at Burger King. I guess you could say I was a hamburger helper. Or more accurately, in kingdom terminology, I was a fast food feudal serf. And on my first day, I never forget, this pretty blonde employee said, "You're not going to be one of the quiet types, are you?" So I took that as a personal challenge to start my teenage mayhem, like squirting ketchup up the girls' dresses, late night Whopper fights, beer behind the dumpster, and vodka in the orange soda. Thankfully, I met Jesus before I met the judge in juvie. Jesus rescued me.
All right.
But did you ever think Burger King, how did they come up with that name? Doesn't it sound like they had delusions of grandeur? Burger King?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't they show a little humility and call it like the Duke of Beef or the Earl of Buns? King, Burger King? What are you, the master of the hamburger universe? They need a little humility. That's what I'm saying. But we love Burger King. Everybody loves it. And it's so good. I would describe Burger King in royal terms. For instance, they would take a hamburger and they would knight it with the czar of ketchup, the monarch of mayonnaise.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever eaten one of their Whoppers, wonderful. It's the sovereign of scrumptious. Their French fries are the York of yum yummy. Their milkshakes are the Lord of lactose. Food from the realm of the royals. Have it your way. So that's my time. I don't know how long I went, but it's my show. Who cares? It's my computer. All right, good. Thanks for listening. You guys are a great audience. All right, let's put our hands together for our next comedian. Cha is at the mic. Oh, yeah, Cha.
Queen Cha.
Well, thank you, I think. I've been going through some senior old age issues. I noticed the first thing that went was my vision. 2 weeks ago, I'll give you an example. I was ironing my blouse and I was cleaning my oven at the same time. I sprayed easy off on my blouse, and you get the rest easy on in the oven. Gosh, it's hard getting older. I went from 0 meds to what looks like a pharmacy. The good news is I have friends to help me. The bad news is I forget who my friends are. Oh gosh, it's really tough. And another thing, I forget where I last traveled. And so I'm using landmarks. And some people use, mountains, buildings. I've been using parked cars, and I'm telling you, I'm still getting lost. I still don't know anyway. Another thing about getting old is it used to be a dinner and a movie. Now it's a dinner and a funeral. Man, oh man. And for you people who've been married for such a long period of time and you're old as well, keep the romance going. And one of the ways you can do that is whisper those 3 words in her ear. Honey, you're right. It works every time. And now, you have noticed about couples? They will argue about anything. Stands a reason the first argument that Adam and Eve ever had was about piercing belly buttons. Has anybody here been on, well, I can ask, online dating? Ever experienced that or know someone who has experienced it? I say, wouldn't you know it? I mean, what gets me is that the pictures and these profiles are outdated. I mean, mine are recent. I just have to wait for the Botox and the facelift swelling to go down. So you got that there over there. And another thing, everybody says that their body type is average or their build is average. I had a date 2 weeks ago and he was average. He averaged 450 pounds average. So we continue with the date, and he takes me to this, oh my gosh, he takes me to this restaurant with a perfect, beautiful playground. Then he orders a chicken salad. And he says, does the salad come with this? I'm not gaining anything here. No, I traveled from the West Coast to the East Coast to West Coast, and back and forth, hoping and finding someone. And it's just not working out. Fortunately, I have a friend. I do have. And she told me what not to say on a first date. I insist on being cremated. You don't want to do that. Good thing she told me. The other thing is, you'll love my therapist. You will just love her. And another thing what you shouldn't be doing or saying on the first date is strong arms. Can you open my Prozac bottle? Think about that one. Other than that, I do ponder things. So, I don't understand some things. I'll think about it. Well, what's going on? One of those things is they say, not two snowflakes look alike. How did they know that? How do they know that? By the time they find its match, the other one would have already melted. I just don't get it. And I pondered this. Does anyone remember the Doobie Brothers, the band?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't get excited. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. I do. And I wonder how they would answer the phone. I think they would say something like, I be doobie hoobie you be, I be doobie hoobie you be. I'll say it slower. I be doobie, you be hoobie hoobie. I can't do it slow. So anyway, I be doobie hoobie you be. And I don't know, but I do want to go over one thing though, which annoys me. It's when you're on a date and his phone rings. Not only does his phone ring, he answers it. I mean, hold on. I think, mind you, hold on. Hello? Yeah, no, yes. Hold on, guys. Okay. All right. I got to go. It's my therapist. She has an opening.
Okay.
Done.
Good job. Say that again. I be doobie who be doobie.
I be doobie who be you be.
Oh, great. Now that's going to be in my mind all night tomorrow. You just ruined my whole night and tomorrow. You're saying that,
wonderful.
trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cha. That was awesome. Very good. Very good. Okay. Well, next up is the world famous and renowned Ed the Med. He's famous in his own mind. Ed the Med, the man of puns. Ed, the stage is yours.
Oh, we're world famous, huh? That's
World in your own mind. In your own mind.
But I always be. Everybody feels great after my comedy because they're either laughing hard or glad it's over. Disclaimer: they feel better either way. Now, how many of you? Let me start out. Pick a topic that people can readily identify. You ever just feel like you're just caught in the middle? Show of hands. Get those hands up. Thank you for all being.
Don't shoot.
Thank you for being honest. And if anybody didn't raise their hand, may God forgive them for lying. But anyway, it's a story of my life, being just caught in the middle. And right now, I'm having a midlife crisis. I've actually had many. My first one, I was 12. I mean, I had to pay adult fares at the movies. I didn't get a cost of living increase in my allowance. I started junior high school. Now it's called middle school, which I think is more appropriate because I was caught in the middle. It's that age. 2 lockers, gym clothes, and books. When they tell you to grow up and they don't really let you do it. Act your age. What does that mean? I mean, how is a 12-year-old supposed to act? Can't drive. Can't have fun anymore. I was confused. Well, and now I'm having another midlife crisis. It's my first month on Medicare. All of a sudden, I've become popular, though. My phone is ringing off the hook, getting all kinds of offers for healthcare supplements. And I even got an invitation to dinner at Applebee's. One caveat.
Oh, gosh, here we go. Yeah.
I'm not making this up. This actually happened. A dinner invitation at Applebee's. The caveat was I'd have to listen to a presentation on cremation.
Oh, gee.
Snort.
I mean, that's not a very pleasant thought to have dinner over. I really don't care what you do with my ashes. In fact, I'd like to be eulogized. I would like to really be eulogized now because I want to hear about what a great guy, a funny comedian, a great whatever that I was, instead of you're all right. Mm-hmm. Which is probably what my tombstone will. It's a true story. One of my math teachers remembered me as being just all right. Mm-hmm. No, that's okay, I guess. Now, it's not uncommon for people my age to try to reinvent themselves. Well, it's not, and I don't really try to do that. I just continue to make discoveries. Every morning I sing "Getting to Know You" to when I look in the mirror. Getting to know you. And but life is confusing. We all agree that life is confusing, though. It really started. When my confusion started, it started when I was born. The doctor smacked my butt. At least I think that's where he hit me. Now, years later, when my very own Michelle entered the world, she entered the world crying and screaming. She was no fool. She learned avoidance behavior at an early age. It maybe has something to do with it. I coached her when she was still in the womb. I said, Michelle, when you enter the world, you throw a tantrum and the doctor won't hit you. Only one trouble is after she was born, she kept throwing tantrums from time to time. So I had to unlearn it then. Like John, I have one thing in common with John. I was raised Catholic, and that to me was mass confusion. No offense if anybody's Catholic, this is a comedy show, though. I mean, I was,
that's right.
And I am dating myself, but I remember when the masses were said in Latin. I still don't know what they were saying. Wait, you want me to say amen? I have no idea what you're saying. It sounds like, I can play dominoes better than you can.
A weirdo.
I went to Catholic school. Some of the stories are funny now, but looking back on it, it was just downright petrifying. Boys would be boys. Two boys are naughty. This one, we're getting ready for mass, and one nun said to the two little naughty boys, "Now you boys have been naughty today. I don't think you should receive Jesus." Which meant take communion. Sister, with all due respect, isn't this when we need Jesus?
Amen.
And then I used to be petrified, that I wouldn't make it. What if I committed a mortal sin and I was on my way to confession and a lightning bolt hit me? Sorry, you're 2 minutes too late. You're toast. I mean, I was scared. Let me be fair. I had some confusing experiences in some Protestant churches too. I mean, I went to a Baptist church years ago. They played Just As I Am. I kid you, all verses. And about the 5th time they played it through, I was ready to go up and get saved again. I was humming my own words. When will this service be over? I'm gay. I'm hungry. My mouth is watering for Big Mac. Okay, I'll get saved again. Let's just get it over. And boy, flip it. You hear one sermon. You are a servant. You are, you must suffer for the cause of Jesus. Another sermon. God wants you rich and prosperous. He doesn't want you to have any illness, any problems. Name it, claim it. Now I'm confused. Which is, one or the other. Now, as a kid growing up, I was no angel as a kid growing up. I'd bring home less than the perfect report cards, oftentimes. Truth is usually. My mom would say to me, you can do better than that. You're smart. Then if I said something disrespectful after she said that, she said, "Don't get smart with me." Mom, you just told me I was smart. I'm confused now. What did she other things she was, what you need is a good whipping. Mom, there's no such thing as a good whipping. It's bad. In fact, everything that hurts me is bad, including all this icky medicine and shots at the doctor that gives me, that's supposed to keep me well. I mean, I'm confused. It's the way of my life, mass confusion. Thank you.
Very good, Ann. I have to clarify one thing. You're at a dinner and they're telling you about cremation. Ed, is that right?
I didn't go, by the way. I
was going to say, because I'd be afraid to use the pepper. I'm just saying.
I never think about that. You go to Applebee's
Is this really Pepper or Uncle Joe? That's scary.
Or a baked Alaska. Yeah, like those things on.
They served you dinner at Applebee's at the cremation presentation, and all of a sudden,
oh my gosh, that's so horrible. All right, Ed, thank you very much. Some wonderful stuff, good, funny stuff. Next online is the bearded one, comedian Vaughn. Vaughn, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm as ready as I'm going to ever get, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, unlike a guy named John Paul Peters, you wouldn't expect that I'd have much that I'd have to live up to. But that's not how my mother saw it. It was always one of those, you got a 96% on that, with a little more effort now, you could have done better. I hope you're happy with yourself. Yeah. But after all, I mean, I too did by the way, Cha, you could consider loweredexpectations.com. That worked for me. So if you do run into my wife, thank her for taking one for the woman team then. So we did that way back in the early days of online, before there really was online dating. And, back when, you had dial up, and if you just hope they didn't send a picture to you, because it jammed up your computer for 20 minutes, stuff that nobody can relate to anymore. Yeah, so I'm probably the reason why kids today don't get to enjoy the free range lifestyle we did when we were younger. I'll tell you, the only thing probably worse than the minister's kid is when the minister's kid teams up with the funeral director's kid. And that was me. So I don't know. I feel bad about your cremation story there. Would love to have a chance to win you over to preneed. But anyway, I started actually working in the funeral home when I was 13 with my dad. That was before goth got cool, by the way. So it was while other kids were flipping burgers at, Burger King. I was working in the morgue. So, but anyway, no, I had a good friend growing up. His dad was the local minister. We got in all sorts of trouble together. Most notably, perhaps, our fathers were working a funeral together at his church one day, and it was an old country church before the days of air conditioning, and it had this ductwork in the ceiling that led out to a great big iron round fancy grate above the sanctuary, maybe 10 feet in diameter, I don't know. But we crawled out into that thing and made spooky noises down at the funeral below us that echoed and reverberated down through the grate, wah, just for, to set the right, spirit, so to speak. But, and, what boggled my mind, we got out of that, and my friend, well, his father was a minister, so he raised him right. He went back and he told his father right out, Dad, that was us up in there making those noises. Wasn't it fantastic? I thought, are you out of your mind? Haven't you met the belly, that, is going to come? And, I knew it from that point on. I knew it was coming. And going home, I mean, it was like spending the rest of the afternoon on death row, man, because, when Dad comes home, it's gonna happen. But, I had my share of run-ins with the local police too. I convinced my dad, that, let me get a motorcycle, right? It would be a cheap way of transportation. And after several months of persuasion, I finally got this. I said, you can do it. But if I ever one time here, you've been riding without a helmet, that bike's gone. It'll be gone in a New York minute. There won't be anything you can do to save it at that point. So wear your helmet, we'll be good. And I diligently did that for the first 3 or 4 weeks. And around about that time, I had a friend that wanted a lift, but only had one helmet. So we rationalized that we put the helmet on George because, you know, the cops would see him from behind, you know, so maybe, you know, we'd have a chance of getting away with that. But of course, that didn't work. And, you know, I got stopped. And the arresting officer, the stopping officer, I should say, arrested exactly, but, you know, the officer that stopped me, you know, I'll give you a choice. We can go home and talk to your father about this, or we can handle this here like a man. How do you want to deal with this situation? Well, so naturally, I picked handle it there like a man, which turned out to be a bad idea. Because the guy took his leather officer's glove and whaled me across the cheek with that. I had a red handprint like that on the side of my head for about 3 days after that.
Wow.
And he said, now he said, son, that would have hurt a lot less if you had your helmet on.
Oh, wow.
So I got to go home, and I'm sitting there at the dinner table with my handprint. You know? Father's, what happened to you? You know. So, and of course, I had to make something up there. You know. But anyway, this is probably one of many reasons why I can't return to live in the small town that, you know, I used to live in. Found out another one of those. We're actually back there for the first time in a long time. A couple of months ago, they were having the 100th anniversary of an event that occurred, you know, in that town in 1920. And I had showed up for this event. And, well, we had this, I got to kind of rewind this story. We had this English teacher that nobody particularly cared for at school. And so a friend of mine and I decided we were going to prank the guy at Halloween that year. And, you know, we went to the man's house and put the flaming bag of dog dew on his porch to ring his doorbell, you know. And, but as I recall, I got to the ding part in the doorbell. It didn't even dong, and the door came open, and I was afraid this guy saw me, you know, right? And I thought, oh no, this is a disaster. But, you know, I got good grades from there. Thank God I got good grades. And I still got that. Well, it was a 98, you know, you could have done better. And I'm thinking, not for that guy. But, you know, but then a few months after that, maybe 2 or 3 months later, the fella's mom passed away, and they came to the funeral home that I was working at, and I thought, oh no, this guy is going to say something to my father, and I'm going to get my butt tarred after this funeral, you know. But no, he didn't. To his credit, I got good grades from him. He never said anything to either of my parents, and I guessed that he probably just didn't realize it was me. Anyway, fast forwarding, 45 years later, I'm in town for this 100th anniversary event. And after the event was over, I pulled up at the gas station to fill my car up for the trip home. And this guy pulled in, and he's filling his car up at the pump opposite mine. And he sticks his head around. Vaughn Starr, is that you? I said, yeah, it is. He's still putting dog crap on people's porches. So, you know, the small town, they won't forget. So,
Wow.
But,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes,
Wow.
sir. Anyway, I guess my time is probably up, and
well, my takeaway is the moral of the story is if phone rings, your doorbell, don't answer.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Don't be too quick to stomp out every fire. That's
another moral of the story.
I like when you said about the doorbell thing, and you didn't get it till there was dong. Maybe I missed.
Never even reached the dong part of that one. Yeah.
I'll tell you, it makes me so happy that there are other mischievous kids besides myself and my friends, because we were horrible.
Oh, well, and then your parents give you, the beneficiary generational curse. I hope you get one just like you. And now between biological adoption and foster kids, I think I've had 55 that have been somewhat like me, and some of these
Well, this has been absolutely wonderful. I want to acknowledge
this all worked out well. I mean, my cremation jokes and you working at a funeral,
we got a theme. It's a dark, sadistic theme, but it is a theme.
I know.
I want to thank our commenters and visitors, Nia Carter, Tomas Kuff, and our good friend Chip Faust have visited, and I put up their comments, so you'll be able to see these on the Facebook feed. Guys, this has been a lot of fun. It's been absolutely a perfect time. I hope we can do this maybe twice a month or whenever, but this has been really great, and I'm trusting the audience enjoyed it. If you did, send us comments on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and also, if they want to do this open mic, it's got to be clean, of course, and just to have fun. And one more thing.
Right. Here's a note from Nia. She says, when I went to Catholic preschool, me and my best friend Georgie were always in trouble with the nuns. We would wrestle during nap time. Girls and boys went to the basement to use the restroom. The toilets and urinals were on opposite sides of the room. No wall between them. What? Georgie and his buddies were aiming at the wall behind the urinals. I went over to join them, but always ended up in the basement by myself, wearing some little boy's overalls while my undies dried out. My friend Nia, thank you very much. That made me so happy that you shared that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. What a mental picture that brings. That's a great way to end our show, Nia. All right, you guys. Lord bless you. Keep laughing. Keep having the joy of the Lord, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Carry on.
All right.